Hello everyone. I've never done a live before, so bear with me. I've got Ben upstairs to tell me if it dies or anything, so hopefully everything works out. Hope everybody's doing okay. So I'm live in my living room, my completely dismantled living room. Just to give space. Hopefully everything works out okay. And yeah, I'm glad you could join. And of all my yoga classes that I do on a regular basis, my Sunday morning one is my favorite, and I would really feel sad if I missed it. So I hope some of you who usually come are joining, and if not, I'm recording this on 3 devices, so it'll be somewhere, probably up on YouTube on Presence of Mind eventually, and all of that. So we'll have some classes coming out this week, and I thought we'd work on some twists today. So if you're not familiar with this particular class, my Sunday morning class is a 75-minute moderate level slow flow vinyasa. I call it mindful vinyasa. And we really get into alignment of postures and just being in your body and connecting with breath. So more than vigorous movement, just being with breath. So if you have a pillow that you can sit on, or maybe a little blanket, and if you have a block, you may need it. You could use a box or something in your house, whatever you have, or nothing at all, it's fine. So we'll just get comfortable. Have a seat, whatever that means for you. Have your legs crossed or in a half lotus, if that feels good. Just close your eyes or have a soft gaze at the floor. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. And just from here, from this place, take a deep breath in, roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And do that twice more. So inhale, roll your shoulders up, back, down. Feel that heart opening. And once more, inhale, roll all the way open. So feel that space across your chest, expand into your lungs, lengthen through your spine. And you have grounding in your sits bones as you lengthen up through the crown of your head. So feel your spine really extend floor to ceiling. Your hands can be at your knees or in your lap, whatever feels good. And just start to bring your breath through your body. So all the way down to the base of your spine, and then expand outward. And include the back ribs, so you feel that breath reaching in all directions. You're closing your lips, tucking your chin just a little bit to lengthen out through the back of your neck. And really feel that space in your throat as you expand into the breath. And if you want, at any time, you can exhale through an open mouth sigh. Let go of whatever needs to be released. Think of this as spring cleaning for your mental, physical, and emotional bodies. And notice if there are any spaces that you're clenching or holding. Bring your breath with your mind's eye into those spaces and let them soften and release. And just constantly do that. Notice where you can release into being Take one more breath in and then let it out. Release your arms behind you. So turn your thumbs to the outside and just roll your heart open. Maybe take your eye gaze to the ceiling. Open through your heart and your throat. Feel that nice stretch right down the front body into the sternum. Squeeze your shoulder blades and just open up. And then come back to stillness, come back to neutral. Hands to your knees. Roll your shoulders back so you have that length through the neck. Lift up through your front body so your belly button kind of draws in toward your spine so you support your mid-body. Lengthen up here. And then exhale, round. Press your back body toward the back wall. Tuck your chin and feel that C shape all the way through your spine. And then lead with your heart. Inhale and open. And you can use your hands to leverage these movements. So just a little gentle cat-cow movement. Using breath, going at your own pace. Maybe close your eyes and just feel into this movement. Notice where they're static, where they're sticking. Come back to neutral. Feel that length, anchoring into your sits bones, reaching through the crown of your head. And then take your arms out by your sides. Right arm reaches. Extend through the fingertips, shoulders roll back. And guide yourself over to the left. You can reach that left arm out if you need. Roll your heart open, press through the fingertips and anchor down into that right sits bone. Feel that opening in each rib. And then inhale back to neutral. Release. And then left side, all the way up. Roll the shoulder back. Reach through the fingertips. Stretch through the ribs. Anchor into that left sits bone. And all the way over. Just a nice lateral bend. Stretch out that right arm if you need. Take your eye gaze to the ceiling, roll open. Let the breath be really big. All the way back to neutral and all the way down. Hands to your knees again. Little movements through the spine, cat and cow, just to come back to neutral, come back to that lengthened spine. And then find your way back into a neutral seated position. Shoulders roll back. Take your left hand to your right knee. Your right arm reaches out in front and then all the way open. Make a little half circle. Tuck your hand right at the base of your spine on your cushion, or you can bring a block behind you. Press down into the floor, lift up, lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, rotate. So you're really just rotating from your waist up. Your shoulders rotate toward that right side. And you don't have to strain your neck to look over that back shoulder. You can keep your head nice and neutral. Lengthen on the inhale and then rotate on the exhale. And try that a few more times with breath. Feel that lift. And then a little rotation. It might be 0.5 millimeter. But you know you're going deeper. On your next inhale, release that back arm. Cross your arms so your right hand connects to your left knee. Elbows are connected. Round your spine. So again, you're pressing your back body toward that back wall. Tuck your chin, and you can find movements here or stillness, whatever your body's asking for. On your next inhale, roll all the way up. Take your fingertips to the sky so your elbows stay connected and you're coming into an eagle arm. Your elbows are lifting up to shoulder height. Shoulders are rolling away from your ears and hands press away from your face. So you have kind of a nice right angle. Rolling up and then exhale round. Elbows into your belly. Tuck your chin. On your next inhale, come all the way back through neutral and then exhale, release. Hands crossed at your knees. This time, it's your left arm that goes forward. And then exhale, draw that half circle around. Tuck your hand right at the base of your spine so you press down to lift up through the chest. That right hand stays at your left knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, rotate. And you can use that right hand to guide you a little bit deeper. Feel that length again. So if your arm is really close to your back, you have nowhere else to go but up. Feel that rotation. 2 more deep breaths. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to deepen. Let that last breath be really slow and deep. Squeeze all of the breath out. Rotate even deeper. And then slowly, left arm comes forward. Cross at the knees. Belly button to spine, round forward. On your next inhale, let the arms lift, elbows stay connected. Press the hands, or if this is not accessible for your body, just take your hands to your shoulders, give yourself a little hug. I saw a post today about hugging and social distancing, and all the isolated huggers are just feeling it. So if you're one of those, give yourself a hug. If your hands are connected, press the hands away, stretch the upper back. And then wherever you are, eagle arms or hugging, just tuck your chin round your spine. 1 round of breath. And then inhale to rise. Unwind your arms, take your hands to your knees. Roll your shoulders back, lengthen through your heart. Exhale, tuck your chin. And come back to neutral spine. Take your hands behind you, unwind your legs. And if you're anything like me, you might need to release your hips a little bit. You can move your prop out of the way. Take your thumbs to the outside to roll your shoulders open, and then just winch away for the legs. Trying to keep the chest as forward as possible. And you don't have to go all the way down. You can just kind of wave from side to side and just let it feel good. And if you want to make it bigger, you can release that back arm, lift up, press the hips forward, exhale, and roll to the other side. And flowing twice more, once on each side, pressing hips, opening up, rolling through neutral, and then to the other side. Coming back to neutral. Come forward onto your mat, so you're facing forward. Set your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Spread your fingers wide. Roll your elbows under in table pose. Crown of your head reaches away from your tail and your belly button draws in, supporting your spine, supporting your mid-body. And then as you exhale, just sink your hips to your heels. Forehead touches down. You can bring a block or a pillow underneath the crown of your head. And just connect. Bring breath into back body, back ribs expanding. One more big breath. Exhale, sigh, let it out. On your inhale, roll forward. Come back into your table, set your foundation again. Move your prop. Slide your shoulders away from your ears. Lengthen through your back body. Strong foundation here, and then inhale, let your heart come forward, tailbone lifts. Exhale and round. Press the floor away. Classic cat and cow. Maybe close your eyes here and feel. Feel where the breath needs to go. Feel where the movement needs to deepen. And then from here, see if you can bring your awareness into your hands. So as you press the floor away, squeeze the hands down into the earth and imagine they're sliding forward. And then as your heart comes forward and your tailbone lifts, imagine the heels of your hands are dragging back toward your knees. So you're pulling your heart forward. Feel what happens to that posture. Hopefully something. And you can stay in this linear movement, or you can start to move in any directions from your table. Just let it feel good. And if you're at home, nobody's looking, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. Let it be as big or as little as it needs to be. Make some waves or some spirals. Just feel the full mobility of your joints and your spine. Close your eyes, tap in to movement, expression. One more round of breath. And then come back into stillness. Sink hips to heels. This time, walk your fingertips out really far. Fingertips reach, shoulders roll back away from the ears, forehead touches down. So your knees can be close together to stretch your lumbar, lower back, or your knees can be a little bit wider. Sometimes this is more comfortable for people because it gives more space for your front body, but it brings the stretch a little bit more into your heart. So if you have a preference, just do what your body is telling you. Breath comes into back body. And one more, inhale. Full release out. On your next inhale, roll back into your table, set your foundation again. Shoulders roll back. Take a long breath in, and then as you exhale, send your right leg back. So that right hip wants to roll out, level the hips, and reach through the crown of your head. You can roll your ankles, stretch your toes, feel weight evenly through both hands. And really anchor, so press into the fingertips and across your knuckles. And then start to bring that knee forward, so you're making circles around your right elbow. And see if you can isolate your movement right into your leg. Stabilize through the arms and the upper body. 3 in one direction and then reverse. Keep rolling elbows under, stabilizing the posture. And then that right leg reaches all the way out again. Flex your foot, touch down, press forward and back. Roll the elbows under, Feel like you could tear your mat in half and get that nice stretch all the way down the back of the leg. Lengthen that leg all the way out. And then the right leg comes all the way over to the left. Reach through the crown of your head, so you're lengthening all the way through your back body. And then exhale, left ear toward left hip. So if someone was looking from the top, you're making a nice C shape. Squeeze into the heel, lift through the crown of the head. Maybe take your eye gaze to your toes. One more breath. And release. Right leg reaches back. Knees touch down. Sink hips to heels. Fingertips reach forward. Expand into your back body. Choose which child's pose you prefer, knees wide or knees together. One more breath. On your inhale, roll back. Set your foundation again, table pose. Lengthen through your crown all the way through the back body. Exhale. Left leg reaches out. Level the hips, so make sure that left hip isn't rolling out. Stabilize through the hands and reach through the heart. Roll the ankle. Stretch the toes. Press into both hands evenly. Left knee comes toward your elbow. 3 big circles. Start to synchronize your breath. Slow it down. And then reverse direction. Notice if you're pressing more into that right hand. Once more. Leg reaches out, flex your foot, tuck the toes down, press forward and back. Stretch through that left leg. Roll the elbows under. Press the hands toward the top of your mat. Feeling a little heat? Just a little. Left leg reaches out. And then all the way around. Tuck the toes. Lengthen through your spine, back body, and then exhale, right ear toward your hip. Stretch through the ribs. Let your heart stay reaching forward and keep pressing into that back heel. One more breath. As you exhale, go just a little bit deeper, 1 millimeter. And then inhale back through neutral. Knees come together. Hips to heels. Child's pose. Fingertips reach forward. 3 deep breaths. Once more. Let it be big. On your next inhale, roll forward, table pose. Hands can be slightly forward of the shoulders. Tucking your toes. Lifting the knees, keep the knees bent. Press your chest toward your thighs. Feel that length in your spine. Roll your elbows under. Squeeze into your fingertips and across your knuckles. And then when you're ready, straighten the legs to whatever degree. Pedal the heels, sway the hips. Make waves through your spine, whatever movements you enjoy to wake up your spine, your legs, your upper body, playing with your down dog. Then find your way into stillness once you feel complete. Squeeze your heels, lift your hips, press your chest. Your knees can be bent as much as you need. Belly button draws in, your eye gaze is between your ankles. And squeeze your heels down toward the earth, and they don't have to meet the earth. Mine are still about an inch off the ground. And that's okay, especially in the early minutes of practice. Just getting the body warmed up. One more round of breath. And then look between your hands, walk your feet to the top of your mat. Keep your knees bent a lot. Take your chest to your thighs, clasp your arms. Let your head hang. Nice ragdoll. Fun movement here. You can bounce, you can sway. So feel the stability in your feet and your legs, supporting and holding your upper body so you can release anything you've been holding, which is probably a lot this week. So just let it go. Then bring your hands to your shins. Roll your shoulders back. Lift halfway up, belly button to spine. Arms reach out like wings, come all the way up to standing. Palms press. I'm probably going to go out of frame here. Maybe look to the sky. Stretch long, and then exhale, hands to heart. Open Tadasana. On your next inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step right back, downward facing dog. Squeeze heels, lift hips. Press your chest to your thighs. Squeeze into that left heel, right leg reaches back. Press through the heel, lengthen all the way from the fingertips to the heels. Keep the shoulders and the hips square. And then from here, you can bend that top leg, open the hip, but keep the shoulders square. So if that right shoulder opens out, roll it back down. And then you can look over your left shoulder, say hello to your foot. Stack knee over hip. Just open up. And then squeeze your knee into your nose. Round your spine, press the floor away. Flex your foot, step forward between your hands. Lower your back knee down. You can pad underneath your knee. If you have tight hip flexors, you might stay with the legs about 90 degrees each. Or if your hip flexors are a little more flexible, walk the toes out so that when you come forward, your knee doesn't shoot forward of your ankle. So if you're back here and you go deeper, you're collapsing into this and you're kind of stuck. So send that foot forward. And then push into the foot, pull the right hip back, lift up through your chest. Feel like you're lifting up out of your waist, and then take the arms high. Keep pressing into that front foot. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Take the head all the way up and back, look to the sky. Keep pressing into that front foot. And then exhale, hands to your heart. You can either take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee, or if that's a little too deep, too early, left hand underneath your shoulder, right hand to the top of your knee, and then rotate. Press into that right hand to rotate. If you're in your prayer twist, elbow to the top of the thigh, hands as close to center as you can, and then maybe you take the eye gaze high. Keep pressing into that front foot. All the way back down. Hands frame that front foot. Tuck the back toes under. And then step all the way back, downward facing dog. Find any movements here. Release.
And then find stillness. Set your foundation again. Squeeze heels, lift hips, press chest to thighs. Roll the elbows under, press into the fingertips. Right heel squeezes down, left leg reaches back. Three-legged dog. Toes to the floor, heels to the ceiling. Hips and shoulders are square. And then bend your knee, open the hip. Keep the shoulders nice and square. So not letting that left shoulder roll open. You can look over your right shoulder, say hello to your foot, and just open up through that hip. Bring your knee to your nose, round your spine, flex your foot, step forward, lower the back knee down. So set yourself up into your lunge if you need to have the feet a little bit closer, or if you're open in the hip flexors, walk the toes out. Feel that length in your spine. Press into the floor with that front foot and pull left hip back as the right hip presses forward. So you're trying to square the hips to the front of the mat. Slide your shoulder blades back as you lift up through your chest. And then inhale, let the arms come all the way up. Shoulders roll back. Take your eye gaze high. Keep pressing into that front foot. Keep pulling back in that left hip. Feel like you're lifting up out of your waist and dropping the shoulder blades back down. One more breath. Feel that length, and then as you exhale, hands to your heart, either prayer twist, elbow to thigh, rotate, or right hand down, left hand, fingertips kind of face in toward your midline, lengthen here, and then rotate. Keep pressing into that front foot. So maybe you take a few breaths here, and then you might find that you can go a little bit deeper. One more round of breath. Release. Hands frame that front foot. Tuck the back toes under. Step back. Downward facing dog. So if at this point you're like, I really need a chaturanga, you can roll forward, bend your elbows, lower, and flow. Look forward between your hands, step or float to the top of your mat. Lengthen halfway, knees can bend as much as you need. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart, open, palms forward, stand tall. Tadasana, mountain pose. On your inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, all the way forward. Knees bend as much as you need. Lengthen on the inhale, fingertips to the floor or hands to shins. Exhale, plant hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale to roll forward. Knees or toes, bend your elbows through chaturanga. Lower, chest and chin. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Elbows squeeze into your sides. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Look between your hands. Your right foot steps. Your left hand stays grounded. Right arm reaches to the sky. Find that twist and expand in all directions. We'll take this first round a little slower. Explore it through a few rounds of breath so you can really get the alignment in your whole body. And as much as you press down, lift up. So use the strength in the legs so that maybe that bottom arm can lift. Hands touch down, Frame that front foot. Left knee bends. Step forward between your hands, lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Palms press. Hands to heart. Open Tadasana. Second round. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back. Downward facing dog. Roll forward. Knees or toes. Hug your elbows to your sides, lower. Inhale to rise. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. Eyes between your hands. Left foot steps forward. Right arm stays grounded. Left arm reaches to the sky. Squeeze into that back heel. Away from the front knee. And then lift up through the chest. Feel that broadening right across the collarbones. So much so that you don't even need that right arm. Hug your front knee into your chest. And then exhale forward. Bend your right knee, step between your hands, lengthen halfway, exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up, palms press. Exhale, hands to heart, open Tadasana. Inhale to rise, exhale to hinge. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. On your inhale, roll forward, plank, lower. Inhale to rise. Exhale, press back. Look between your hands. Inhale, right arm reaches, twist. Exhale, hands touch down. Step forward, lengthen, and fold. Big inhale to sweep up. Palms press. Hands to heart. Open. Again, inhale. Exhale, hinge, forward fold. Lengthen halfway. Plant hands, step back, downward facing dog. Roll forward into plank. Lower your way. Inhale to rise. Exhale, press back. Left foot steps. Left arm reaches, twist. Touch down. Right knee bends. Step forward. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. Big inhale, sweep up. Hands to heart. And open. One more round each side. Inhale to rise. Exhale, forward fold. Lengthen halfway. Plant hands, step back. Downward facing dog. Roll forward. Lower slow. Inhale, open up. Exhale, press back. Right foot steps. Right arm reaches. Touch down, bend your knees, step forward, lengthen, and fold. Big sweep up, long spine to rise, hands to heart, open Tadasana. Last round, inhale, sweep up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, touch down, downward facing dog, step back, roll forward at lower, knees or toes, inhale to rise, exhale, press back. Left foot steps, left arm reaches, twist, exhale, touch down, right knee bends, step between your hands, lengthen, and fold. Big inhale to sweep up, exhale, hands to heart, open Tadasana, give it a shake. Just notice if there's any movements you need right now. You just moved a lot of energy, so let it go. Maybe close your eyes. Maybe imagine shaking or releasing anything that you don't need right now. take one more round of breath here. Let it out through a sigh. And then stand at the top of your mat. Hands to heart. Big inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, option to flow through a vinyasa or step right back into downward facing dog. So you have an option. And we'll all meet in downward facing dog. So set your foundation again. Squeeze into that left heel, right leg reaches back. Knee to nose, round your spine. Flex your foot, step forward between your hands. You're lowering that back heel down, and you can open that front foot a little bit wider, setting up your warrior one legs. Pull that right hip back. Anchor into that back foot. Left hip presses forward. Lift through your chest. From here, feel that line from the crown of your head all the way to the back heel. Lift through the heart. Squeeze your shoulder blades and extend the arms behind you. Keep pulling that right hip back. Anchor through the feet. Inhale to rise. Exhale to arrive. So go deep into the legs and feel that rotation. Again, if you need to open a little bit wider, or if that's too much on your knee, just come up into sort of a crescent lunge and square the hips a little bit more to the front. So you have lots of options. Same as that low lunge. Feel the spine coming up out of your waist. Fingertips reach to the sky. Shoulders roll back. Heart reaches forward. A little deeper into that front leg. This time, fingertips reach forward. Keep the left hand where it is. Your right arm reaches all the way back. So, little twisted warrior. Sink a little bit deeper into that front leg and feel that rotation in your chest. So that's why it's so important to come up out of the waist. Keep squeezing into that back heel. A little more challenging in this shape. Hands come back together. Touch the palms and then shoot your bow and arrow. So you're reaching back and all the way open, warrior two. Sink a little bit deeper into that front leg. Lift up through the front body. Anchor down through the back body. Feel the feet drawing in toward each other. Extend through the fingertips. Take your eye gaze over that right middle finger. Shoulders reach away from your ears. Go a little bit deeper. And once more, go a little bit deeper. Let your body override your brain. Nudge that front knee out. Pull the hip back and rotate through that front leg. Feel it a little bit. That right hip is a little warm. And then straighten that front leg. You can pull that back foot in just a little bit. Straighten both legs. Lift the kneecaps up toward your hips. Keep the arms extended out, and you're reaching forward into a triangle. You can use your block to the inside, to the outside. You can have your hand to your shin, your ankle, your big toe, as long as you're not rounding your upper body. And then engage the legs. Feel your kneecaps lifting up toward your hips. Flex your quadriceps. Roll your heart open. Take your eye gaze to that top hand. Using the strength in your legs, just check to see if you're relying on that bottom hand to keep you in place. And then send the lower ribs toward that front leg. One more breath. On your next inhale, let that left hand pull you all the way back up. Hands to hips. Move your block. And then step that back foot in, 6 or 8 inches. Square your hips to the front. And your back foot is at a slight angle, but the toes are pointing more forward than your warrior pose. Knees lift up toward your hips. Both legs are straight. Hips are square. Open your heart. Hands to your hips, almost like you're turning a dial. Hinge forward. So you're coming into a pigeon, or not a pigeon, pyramid pose. Hello, live stream. Right hip pulls back, left hip presses forward. Your spine is in line with the floor. So from here, if this is enough stretch on that front leg, just take your hands to your thigh. Feel your quadricep engage, so lift your kneecap up to your hip. You can stay here, or if you're a little more open, you can have your hands to blocks, anchored here, or fingertips to the floor. But what you don't want is that rounding. So trying to get your forehead to your shin without lengthening is not going to have good ending results. So keep that heart reaching forward. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then when you can't lengthen anymore, then you can hinge forward, forehead to knee. One more round of breath. On your next inhale, lengthen halfway. Bring your hands to your hips. Press into the feet, lift all the way back up. And then turn the feet parallel. Take the feet just a little bit wider. So when you open your arms, you want your feet about underneath your wrists. And then turn the heels out and the toes turn in. Hands to your hips. Open your front body, heart and throat. And then exhale, hinge. Pause halfway, so your spine from the side is again parallel to the floor. Lengthen halfway here. And then exhale, touch down. Hands can be underneath the shoulders. You can have blocks if you need to raise the floor a little bit. And then feel the heels of your hands dragging back. So feel your heart reaching forward as you're pressing the heels of your hands back. Again, from here, lengthen first, and then exhale, fold. Lift your kneecaps up toward your hips. Maybe take your fingertips in line with your toes if you have space. Elbows hug in, shoulder width distance. And then as you press your fingertips toward the top of your head, maybe you go a little bit deeper into that stretch. Take your weight a little bit in toward your toes, but not so much that your heels start to lift. And I know my feet are cut off. Let your head hang heavy. So feel the stretch all the way from your lower back, all the way through the crown of the head. Gently nod yes or no. If you have space, maybe you take the hands a little bit deeper, open the arms back, crown of the head toward the earth. One more breath here. Walk your hands all the way back underneath your shoulders. Lengthen halfway, belly button draws in. Engage the legs, strong spine. Hands come back to your hips. Come all the way up. Open heart and throat. Exhale back to neutral. Open the arms wide. And then turn your right toes to the front of the rim. Deep knee bend, warrior two. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more inhale. And then exhale, windmill. Hands frame that front foot. Step back. Downward facing dog. Your option is to roll forward like a wave and flow through a vinyasa. from your downward facing dog. If you need at any time, you could bring your knees down to the floor and just hold child's pose. Let the vibration of all your movements kind of settle. Let breath come back into your body. Let your pulse come back to neutral before we go into round 2. And then when you're ready, press back, downward facing dog. Look between your hands, step or float forward. Lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep up, long spine, palms press overhead, hands to heart. Open Tadasana. Full breath in here, full breath out. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hinge, forward fold. So your option, if you choose, step right back into downward facing dog or flow. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Right heel squeezes in, left leg reaches back. Press through the heel, press through the hands, and then knee to nose. Round your spine, step forward, lower the back heel down. Set up your warrior 1 legs. Sink deep into the legs, open that front foot out if you need it, and your option is to turn on that back heel. Lift through the chest, anchor into the feet, arms reach back, lift through your heart. Feel that line, creating geometry in your body, right? Sink deep, and then open up. Shoulder blades squeeze, feel like you're expanding forward. Press into the feet, deeply anchored into the feet. Inhale to rise. Exhale, sink deep. Rotate through the hips. Right hip pulls back. Left hip presses forward. So adjust the feet if you need, if your legs are starting to torque. Inhale, open. Heart extends. Feel like you're lifting up out of your waist. Exhale, go deep. Arms reach forward. Find that twist again. So the right arm stays reaching forward. Left arm opens wide. Like a big doorway swinging, right? Back heel stays grounded if you can. If you're feeling the pressure, lift up to the heel. Big breath in, open wide. Big breath out, go deep. One more, inhale. Maybe you take your eye gaze toward that back arm. And then exhale, come forward, palms press. Shoot your bow and arrow, pull back strong. Adjust the feet if you need. And then open wide, find your warrior 2. Lifting up through the front body, anchoring down through the back body. Nudge that front knee open so you can see your big toe. And rotate externally through that front leg. A little more strength, but so much more stability. Feel that breath. So every time you inhale, expand from your center. Every time you exhale, strength in that leg. Try that one more time. Inhale, expand, and then exhale. And then press into that front foot. Straighten the leg. Kneecaps lift up toward the hips. You can take that back foot in just a little bit. Arms open wide. Reach forward. Trikonasana, triangle. Block if you need it. Lower ribs toward that front leg. Kneecaps lifting up toward your hips. Roll your heart open to the ceiling. Take your eye gaze to that top thumb. Send your lower ribs toward the front knee. Send your heart to the ceiling. One more breath. Can you expand longer through the spine? Exhale, rotate a little bit more. And then inhale, let that top arm pull you all the way back up. Hands to your hips. Turn your feet parallel. So I'll turn forward. Heels go out, toes turn in, open through heart and throat. Totally missed pyramid. So we're going to do that again. From your triangle, step that back foot in just a little bit. Square the hips forward. Here we are. Lift the kneecaps up toward the hips. Left hip pulls back, right hip pulls forward. Have your block handy if you need it. Hands to your hips. Shoulders roll back, heart reaches forward. Use the strength in the legs to come forward. Once you're here, pull that left hip back. So level through the hips. Extend through the crown of the head. You can stay here, hands to your front thigh. Keep engaging that front leg. So feel the energy lifting up from the ankle all the way to that hip. If you have space, you can use a block, 2 blocks, or you can touch down. Keep that length. So lengthen, reach through the heart, and then left hip pulls back. Do that one more time. Lengthen here, left hip pulls back. Exhale, hinge once you have found the full capacity of your length. One more breath. Inhale to press, halfway lift. Hands come back to your hips. Lift all the way up. And then soften into that front leg. So this time, turn the feet parallel. Toes turn in, heels turn out. I will now turn forward. So again, ankle underneath wrist, heart and throat open. Exhale, like you're turning a dial, hinge, and then bring your hands forward. So you can use blocks here. I'm going to back up so maybe you can see my hands better. Okay, that works. Hands underneath shoulders, shoulders roll back. Lengthen through your spine. So your heart reaches forward away from your tailbone. You can use blocks here to lift the floor. Blocks have 3 heights, so you can play with it if you need to. Take your right hand underneath your face, your left hand to your hips. Lift up here, engage the legs, lift the kneecaps up toward your hips, and then just rotate through your upper body, so from the waist up. If you feel like that right hip is kinking in, press it back so that left hand, if I tip forward and you can see my hips, keep them square as you rotate. Belly button draws in and extend, lengthen through your spine. Maybe that top arm lifts as long as the hips stay square. And you can totally call me out if my hips go out of alignment. And then exhale all the way down. Right away, switch sides. So left hand right in front of your face. Right hand to your sacrum, your lower back. Lengthen first. And then rotate from the waist up. Hips stay level. Legs engaged to encourage the hips to be locked in place. If that left hip starts to kink in, press it out. And then once you have the space, take that top arm. And you might not be totally stacked. You know, we can all sort of open really, really wide in this expression, but the hips are way out of whack. So pull it back in. And maybe the arm doesn't stack the way our ego wants to. And then all the way back down. Lengthen here. Exhale, fold. Next, inhale, lengthen halfway. Hands come back to your hips. Come all the way back to standing. Turn that left toe to the front wall. Side wall. Come back and do a warrior two. Figure it out. Sink deep into that front leg. Expand right across the chest. Full breath in. Exhale, windmill down. Step back. Flow or press right back into downward facing dog. Option for child's pose if you want it. One more round of breath, wherever you are. Look forward between your hands. Walk, step, or float to the top of your mat. Lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. Palms press. Exhale, hands to heart. Open Tadasana. Next, inhale, rise. Exhale, forward fold. Lengthen halfway. Yogi's choice, step right back, downward facing dog. Or if you're feeling those vinyasas, keep them coming. Left heel squeezes down, right leg reaches back. Knee to nose, step forward. Warrior one, right away. Sweep up. Exhale. Open that front foot if you need it. Square the hips. Right hip pulls back. Left hip presses forward. Big breath in. This time exhale, hands to heart. You can either left hand to the outside of the right knee, open into a twist, or prayer twist, elbow to the outside of that right knee. Keep that back heel down if you can, or you can turn into more of a crescent lunge. Lengthen all the way through the back body and anchor into the feet. One more round of breath here. Next, inhale, windmill up right away. Find your warrior two. Sink deep into the front legs. Expand right across the chest. Take your right elbow to the top of your thigh. Left arm reaches high. Roll your pinky down toward the floor. Tuck your shoulder in and roll your heart open. Press into the feet. Sink deep into the legs. Did this in my last class. Inhale to rise. Open reverse warrior. Exhale. Extended side angle. So if you want a little challenge, lift that front heel. Stabilize the ankle and the foot. And just coordinate your breath to movement. It doesn't have to be in any particular pattern. There are no rules. One more round. Once you come up, touch your heel down, straighten your front leg, reach forward, find your triangle. Open up. You can play with it if you want. Take that top arm behind you, roll your shoulder open, tuck your chin to the ceiling. Engage the legs a lot. Press into the feet, lift up through the knees. Maybe take that front arm forward. Here's your challenge. That top arm reaches all the way forward like you're holding a big ball overhead. Extend long, rotate open, and then inhale to rise. Take your hands to your hips. Step the back foot in. Square the hips to the front. Back foot is a little bit angled. Have your block, if you have one, hopefully. Left hip squares. Lift up through the chest. Right hand at your hip, left hand to the sky. Exhale, again, like you're turning a dial. Hinge forward. Find your balance. So pull, right hip back, left hip forward. Extend long. So imagine your arm is one length from your back body. And then exhale, touchdown. Again, lengthen here, rotate through the hips. So that right hip presses back. So you can stay here, or if you have space, rotate even more. The chest opens toward that back wall, and you lift high. So many different variations for your revolved triangle. So you can use the block to the inside, or a little more challenging to the outside of that front foot. Or you can opt not to have the block. That hand, left hand to the outside, or right underneath the shoulder rather, to the top of the foot, or to the outside of that front foot. Wherever you are, one more breath. And then look down, soften that front leg, hands frame that front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Pedal the heels, wave the hips, whatever you need. Touch down in child's pose if you need it, just for a couple breaths. And then when you're ready, come back. Downward facing dog. One more round, one more krama. Look forward, step, float, or walk to the top of your mat. Lengthen and fold. Inhale, sweep up, palms press, hands to heart, Tadasana. Anchor through the feet, lift up through the chest. Inhale to rise. Exhale, forward fold. Lengthen halfway. Exhale, step back. Lower, flow through a vinyasa or downward facing dog. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Right heel squeezes, left leg reaches back. Knee to nose. Step forward, set up warrior one. Right away. Inhale, big sweep up. Rise. Lift up out of your waist. Sink deep into that front leg. Pull the left hip back. Once more, just like that. Big breath in. Sink deep. Pull that left hip back. So find your twist. You can either take right hand to the outside of that left knee, open the left arm wide, or prayer twist, find your revolved side angle. So right elbow to the outside of that front leg. Anchor into the heel, or if you need a little bit more space, you can turn that back heel forward. Press into the heel, but lift up toward that center line. Take your eye gaze to the sky. Extend long through the spine. Big breath in. Rotate on the exhale. Once more. Anchor through the feet. Open the arms wide. Windmill open, warrior two. Extend here. If you want, lift the heel. And then touch down. Elbow to thigh. Right arm reaches overhead. Rotate, pinky to the floor, thumb to the ceiling. And then open the heart. So feel what happens to the shoulder. And then inhale, sweep up. Keep the legs strong, anchored, and just flow with breath. You can even play with not touching the arms. Once more. Touch the heel down, come all the way up. Straighten that front leg. Arms reach out. Find your triangle. Lower ribs to the front leg. Shin turn to the ceiling. Pressing into the feet, lifting up through the knees. Playing with this, take the top arm behind you, roll the shoulder open. Press even more, engage the legs. Left arm reaches forward. Roll the heart open. And then a little challenge. Take that front arm forward, roll open. Next, inhale, rise. Bring your hands to your hips. Step forward, 6 or 8 inches, square the hips. Left hand to your hip, right arm reaches. Press into the feet, lengthen here. It's 11:11, at least according to that clock. Pull left hip back, right hip forward. Find your block if you need it. And just do this in levels. So not going into the deepest expression right away. Let your body acclimate. Extend through the heart and then rotate. Pull that left hip back. Maybe from here, left arm rises. And just play with it. So maybe this is where you stay. Maybe you take the block to the outside. I think if you're doing yoga at home, you probably have blocks, right? Maybe. And then maybe you take the block out. Hand to the inside, top of the foot, or to the outside of that front foot. Keep pulling that left hip back. Take the eye gaze to the top hand if you can. One more round of breath. Lengthen, deepen, look down, soften that front foot, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. If you'd like, one last vinyasa, roll forward, lower, rise, open heart, press back. And then everyone, bring your knees down. Sink your hips to your heels. Knees together or knees apart, whichever you choose. Forehead touches down to a block or the floor. Full surrender in this pose. Let your breath find any tension that remains. Let it surround it and release. So surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing effort. I think right now we've all sort of released control over our lives. So can you just breathe into that? Know that you have breath, you have body. You are safe in this moment. And then when you're ready, walk your knees between your hands, cross your ankles, and come forward. So come to seated. So this is probably going to be a little bit more than 75 minutes. I think my regular people know that's how I roll. Take your thumbs to the outside, roll your heart open. Just windshield wiper your legs again. Keep your heart reaching forward. Just let it feel good. And if you want, you can add that reach, press the hips.
Just do it once more on each side. And come back to neutral. Sit tall. You can sit on a prop if you need it. If you had your feet crossed one way at the beginning, try the other way. We're always kind of working toward balance, even though we'll never be symmetrical. We'll just kind of make things a little more balanced. Hands to your knees, shoulders roll back. Lift up through the chest. Nice neutral spine. Anchor through the sits bones. One more round of breath. And then release the legs. So from here, just a little hip stretch. Anchor through the feet, the sits bones, and then cross your right ankle to the top of your left knee. So if you have really tight hips, if you're a runner, or if you're new, stretch that leg all the way up. Flex the foot, and see if you can bring your ankle right above your knee. Lift up through the chest, and then press that knee away. If you have more space, if you're a little more flexible in the hips, bend the knee, but make sure you're not trying to round your spine in the opposite direction. Lift your heart forward. I like to turn my thumbs to the outside to really open the heart, and then press the knee away from your body. Flex your foot, and flex both feet if your front leg is extended. You want your shin parallel to the floor, and your heart reaching forward. Bring your breath wherever you're feeling this, probably here, probably everywhere. One more round of breath. And then from here, if your leg is straight, bend your leg just a little bit. And then you're taking that right foot down to the earth, tuck the left foot under. And you might need to rotate a little bit. If this is really uncomfortable for you and that right hip is lifting way off the floor, straighten that leg again. And you can even take the foot to the inside. So lots of different options. If you want to kind of pretzel yourself, lift up through the chest, anchor through both sits bones, anchor through that front foot especially, and then rotate. So that right arm goes right behind your back body. Press down into the floor so your spine has nowhere to go but up. So you're squeezing your arm in. I'll turn so you can see you're pressing your arm. It's probably easier when you're a hyperextender like me, but as close as you can get it, and then lift up. If you feel like you've got more space to rotate, your chest opens toward that right hip. Maybe you take your elbow to the outside of that right knee and you rotate. One more round of breath. Keep the legs where they are, just reverse the arms. Nice long spine. Chest rotates to the left. Come back to neutral, unwind the legs. Just windshield wiper. Release the hips. Set yourself up on the other side. So whatever you did on the first side, if that right leg, if the left leg was straight, straighten the right leg. If it was bent, find as similar a posture on both sides as you can. Thumbs roll to the outside, heart reaches to your shin, that left knee presses away and you flex your foot. Close your eyes and let your breath do what it does. And then lower that left foot all the way down. Again, whatever you did on the first side, mirror it on the second side. So if you were pretzeled, or if you had that leg straight, maybe to the inside, find your twist. Anchor through the sits bones and that front leg, lift up. Right hand to your left knee, left arm reaches out, tuck right at the base of your spine, press down so the spine lifts. And then once you feel like you have space, if you can go deeper, elbow to the outside, and you rotate chest over that left hip. Keep lengthening through the crown of your head. Don't feel like you have to look over that back arm. Let the rotation be in the mid-body. Leave the legs. Just reverse the arms. Keep a long spine. Heart extends. And then unwind. Windshield over the legs. Once more. Let it feel good. And then sit tall. You can connect your hands to the backs of your knees, or you can lift out, lift up through the chest, and then scoop your belly in as you roll, one vertebra at a time. See if you can resist that spot right about there where your body wants to flop. Lift up through the chest a little bit more. And use the strength in your mid-body to roll all the way down. Hug your knees in. Rock from side to side. So here's where you have the opportunity to listen to what your body needs. So if there are any movements or postures that feel good, and it might just be rolling around on the floor. Maybe another final twist, an inversion, maybe happy baby. What do you need? If you have a block and you want a gentle inversion, lift your hips up, slide your block right under your sacrum, that flat spot at your lower back. Stack your feet right over your hips. And this is one that we should be doing every day at the end of the day. Just give our legs a little love. Let your breath and your nervous system slow. And take a few more rounds of breath just to explore whatever movements your body needs right now. And it doesn't have to be a posture. It doesn't have to look like anything special. Close your eyes and just tap into movement. Movement is so healing because it gets us out of our minds and into our bodies and releasing energy that gets stuck there. So that's why we do what we do. I should have Ben come down and play one of his bowls for Shavasana, but that's probably not going to happen unless he's listening. Lift up, press back. So you can take one final pose if you want. Soles of the feet together, arms reach overhead. Supta Baddha Konasana, bound angle, opening through the front body. And you can stay here for your final relaxation or stretch long and set yourself up into your classic Shavasana. Feet a little bit wider than hip width, arms open, a little wider than your mat.
palms up to receive, or down to ground. Could go either way right now, right? Maybe one of each. One up, one down. Or one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Just let your body tell you what it needs. You have that internal wisdom. As long as you can be quiet enough to listen. Feeling your back body anchor into the earth. Maybe feeling the element of spring coming into your body. Things are growing, we're planting seeds, we're renewing. Maybe imagine yourself as a seed planted in the soft, damp earth. Knowing that you're nurtured with nutrients and sunshine. Knowing that you're safe. And so you start to send some roots down, digging deep into that soft earth, drawing in nutrients, feeling life expanding. And then as you feel the warmth of the sun, you start to send some shoots through the top of the dirt, reaching toward that sun. So maybe from your heart space, start to feel that expanding, that blossoming, that reaching. Drawing nourishment from the earth below and the sun above. Knowing that the deeper you send those roots, the taller you can grow, the more anchored and supported you are. Feel yourself blossoming, feel yourself expanding. Knowing that you have everything you need. That you are safe, that you are free. And just as you are, take a deep breath in through your nose. Gather anything that remains that needs to be released. And let it out through a sigh. Open mouth. As you start to reconnect to your breath, start to invite some movements into your fingers and toes. Then let those movements get bigger. Stretch, reach, expand, explore, whatever you need to do. Coming back fully into your body, into this room, this time and space. bringing with you a new awareness, a new perspective, a new day. And then hug your knees into your chest. Movement or stillness. And then rolling to one side. Curl into a little ball. Feeling nurtured and supported. Knowing that you can come back to this space whenever you need it, even just for a moment. Keeping your eyes closed, pressing yourself back into a seated position, whatever that means for you. Taking your hands to your heart center, bowing your head. And send a prayer of metta, loving kindness, to all who inhabit this earth with us. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you have ease of well-being. May you be free. Take a deep breath in, right to your heart, and then exhale. Take your thumb to your third eye, bow your head. Sending peace and gratitude out to all of you and the whole world. May you be healed. Thank you so much. So much gratitude. Love you all. Thanks for joining. Have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine.